Peace, everyone. Welcome to Movie Innerstandings with Brother Low. I am him. You know what I'm talking about? So this is the Deidre. Quick to the punch, huh? So yes, life does find you. You are on it, Sister Deidre. Life does find a way. My name is Precious. Peace, sister. Emma Precious. So today, talking about we're doing the Jurassic Park. And Jurassic Park was a good movie. It was made by Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg made some good movies and whatnot. And for some of us, Jurassic Park came out when we were kids or whatever. So it's always been a cool movie because it was about dinosaurs. Where probably people don't care about dinosaurs nowadays, but they were a big thing when this movie came out. You know what I'm talking about? Peace, Sister Manera. So, Jurassic Park, right? So, Jurassic Park, at least the first part of the name, Jurassic, it comes from the Jurassic period. And the Jurassic period is the second of the three periods of the Mesozoic era, right? These are the three, geological transformations of the Earth. That's what it really is about. Even I have problems saying words. So the Mesozoic era, it comes from the Greek term middle life. So, you could say it's the Middle Age. Think about it, middle age, right? And so Jurassic comes from the first part or first syllable. Jura, which is the Jura Mountains in France, between France and Sweden. Oh, well, no, Switzerland. And it was named by Alexander Brongniart. He gave the Jurassic period its name in the 18th century. Should be 1804. Yeah, or maybe the 19th. I think it was the 18th century, but I could be wrong. It might be the 19th century. But during the Jurassic period, there was significant global change, and different continental configurations. At one point in time, there was one continental landmass, which we know as Pangea. And during this time, you got to remember that the Jurassic period was basically from 201, to 145 million years ago, right? So, you have this massive land, and it's separating, it's forming itself, and creating new oceans and new ecological changes. It's bringing about in this world peace, Sam, the joy, So, during the Jurassic period, you have this new configuration of land, which you would get your land masses of, North America, South America, Europe, and as this is happening during these eras, you have this continental configuration slowly shaping into what we, the land masses, continental land masses that we know today, right? Yeah, well, we're dealing with in this movie, we're dealing with hard sciences or natural sciences, Sister Deidre. It's out of our forte, but it's the natural science. This is what we're dealing with, geology and things of that nature. So, you have that. I mean, you have, the changing in uh oceans, and tectonic plate changes as well, if you remember, elementary science, tectonic plates are the, basically under the ground plates that shift, and sometimes, if they collide together, that's how you sort of get earthquakes. So you have, these tectonic plates underground shifting, as well as, land masses, forming together, as well as new organisms being brought forth, as well as plant life. New plant life is also being brought forth as well. But during the Jurassic period is where we get dinosaurs, right? Peace, Sister Quia. Peace, Brother Antonio, aka Antonio. So that's why it's called Jurassic Park, because during the Jurassic period was the time of dinosaurs and other organisms as well. So that's what we are dealing with. We're dealing with this period in this movie. So you see, at the movie, the start of the movie, they're messing with a raptor, a velociraptor. I'm talking about, and um, it's taking them forever, because they're opening up the gate to let it into, its own pen, and so they're trying to shoot it, and one guy gets caught. He's being eaten alive and whatnot. But once we get there, we get to basically Montana, right? And we see scientists, sometimes when I see them do this, I want to say archaeologists. They're digging up a raptor skeleton, a velociraptor skeleton, right? And as you can see, with these, with the skeleton, you do not see them chiseling away a rock. Or hardly. You have to tap. And then you got to brush everything away at first. Because you don't want to, harm the skeletal remains that you're looking for. You're digging, but you're also, being careful. So you got a lot of brushes, brushing away. You it's sort of like people that have the hobby of brushing um um gravestones, old gravestones, that when you brush, you can see what's actually written there, because it can be sort of faint, or whatnot, but you see them brushing away. Okay, I didn't know there was a Jurassic period. I thought it was made up. Well, Sister Queer, you yeah, you on the West Coast, think about the La Brea tar pits. That's one thing I learned in school. That the La Brea tar pits was about the Jurassic period. Something like that. Pertaining to dinosaurs and whatnot. So yeah. If it's made up, Sister Queer, I mean, hey, I didn't create it. I didn't make the term. I didn't call this Jurassic period. And things of that nature. I didn't. I was not there. But you have these scientists that dig under the earth to find these things, and that's how they like, oh, these was here way before we got here, way before we got here. What I'm saying? And you have to really dig under the earth to find these things. Yes, the Jurassic, Triassic, and Cretaceous, sham the joy. Those are the three periods of the Mesozoic era. So yeah, you just got them a little bit out of order. Triassic is first, then Jurassic, and then Cretaceous. So yeah, but you see Dr. Grant and Dr. Sadler. They are uncovering, a raptor in the ground, and you know, they're using, computers, to actually, use sound waves to actually see the skeleton, on the computer screen. And they're, observing, the bone movements of the vertebrae and things of that. Yeah, yeah, well, I guess I try my best. I do it how I can. Get how I live how I get. You know what I'm talking about? But they're observing the vertebrae of the raptor. You know what I'm saying, and how they jump and things of that nature. And they can tell all of that from the vertebrae. On the movements and the ligaments and things of that nature. And he's like, man, these guys really knew how to fly. And then you have this kid like, that doesn't look like nothing. Looks more like a 6-foot turkey. He scares the kid. He's like, let's say you're in this period of time, and you see this 6-foot turkey, and you think he can't see you because he he follows move. He only sees movement like Tyrannosaurus Rex. But no, not Velociraptor. You look at him and he looks back at you. But that's when he attacks him. But not from the front, from the side. But from the other two raptors that you didn't even know were there. And then he slashes at you with his claws. The point is, you are alive when he starts to eat you. Right in the middle, scared a little kid. But the point is that you already know that the Velociraptor is a pack hunter type predator. It hunts in packs. But it's high. You could say that it's highly strategic. From his description. Highly strategic and highly intelligent. By coordinating those type of movements or tactical movements. So then they meet, John Hammond, and he's like, well, I've come to talk to you because, you two paleontologists. Now, paleontology is the study of ancient life. So that includes dinosaurs, that includes ancient plant life, yeah, that includes ancient plant life and even ancient oceanic life, because while we're dealing with land and mammals or land animals, you have to also understand that during the Jurassic period, there were also, oceanic animals, oceanic type dinosaurs and things of that nature, things that look like the Loch Ness Monster or whatever, wherever you want to call it. So, yeah, but that's what paleontology is for those that don't know, So if you don't know anything else, if anyone asks you, what's paleontology? You can say it's the study of ancient life. And that goes way before human life or when the first human primates or anything like that, it predates that. So that's the study of paleontology. And so, he wants, them to come to see his park and sign off on it, and if, they sign off on him, he'll fund their, dig for another 3 years or whatever, and you gotta understand, being, archaeological or paleontological professors, people funding your experiments or dig or things of that nature is very important. You gotta get your funding, you gotta get your money because you can't do this for free, so yeah. And you see also you see Dennis, who works at Jurassic Park. He makes a deal with a rival company for 1.5 million, right? And to give them 15 species of dinosaur embryos, so they can catch up on research. You know what I'm saying? Now for me, for 15, for 15 species of dinosaur embryos for 1.5 million, I'm like, that's too low. Me personally, it's like, nah, nah, that's too low. 1.5, nah, not even in the 90s. Nope, that's still too low. I should be at least 10 to 20. We get we doing embryos. At least 1 million in embryo. But that's just me. Because that's valuable information, or valuable research. If you catching up, that's worth a lot of money, and that ain't no 1.5. That's low. To me, that's too low. But it is what it is. But they're on the helicopter, they on the helo, and they meet, probably all of our favorite characters. At least Sister Deirdre's favorite character, my favorite character too, Dr. Ian Malcolm. And Dr. Ian Malcolm is a chaotician. I know they pronounce it like with an S, but there's no S in chaotician. But chaotician is a person that studies the basically the mathematical field of the chaos theory. And the chaos theory, it deals with the non-linear things that can effectively predict or control things. Like everything can be predictable, in certain things. Sometimes you see this with statistics, and that's a mathematical equation. And there's a predictable mathematical equation. But the chaos theory shows that there are nonlinear things or nonlinear variables that can affect that predictability of control into something totally different. That's basically the chaos theory. And then they get into the butterfly effect, which is basically a part of the chaos theory, where it was created in the 1960s by Dr. Edward Lorenz. You see, namesake. And what he taught was that there can be a minute change in that equation of chaos theory, and it can yield a radically different kind of behavior. And what he related it to was the flapping wings of a butterfly in the Amazon can drastically change the weather in China. That's where you get the butterfly effect, or the term butterfly effect, where a small thing can drastically bring something completely out of whack, in that sense. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, they meet him, and he's like, I bring scientists, you bring a rock star, what I'm talking about. But they get on the island, and then the first dinosaur that they see is a brachiosaurus. Now brachiosaurus not the same as a brontosaurus. How do you know? Fin on the head. But yeah, they see him, right? And they are surprised, and they're like little kids. It's like little kids. One thing that to me was interesting about Jurassic Park, what I'm saying? Peace, Barbara, bro. Something like what's happening today. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Barbara, I put it to you like this: like with the hurricane that just passed, right? It caused flooding in New York. That for me, that would be a considerate thing in chaos theory. How you got plenty in New York, which like it's New York, different type of landmass. I expect that in Louisiana because it's below, it's below sea level, but on a higher, plateau or prairie, type land, or mountainous type land as New York, flooding, like it's just but yeah. Could it also be said that the butterfly effect could work in reverse, like a small shift for the better? I would say so. Yeah. Now, what they call that, I don't know. That I'm sure that they have a um probably investigate that as well. But this has to do with chaos theory. So chaos, Now, what you're talking about, something that a small shift for the better, that would be something like, I know they don't have a name for it, but I'll just say order theory. That's order, But where a small thing can change things to make it all in balance or order, But yes. Oh, cocoon effect. Oh, okay. But right. So they see a brachiosaurus and then they talk. He shows them how they made them, and they go into cloning. And nowadays, cloning is a big thing. Cloning. Um, bodily intestines and goats and things like that. And then I think she's joking. um. Okay. Well, hey, maybe she knows. Hey, maybe she knows something I don't. I don't know everything. So, hey, I take it in the spirit of which it was given, like in Doom. But yeah, so you see that that the dinosaurs made through cloning, and they got dinosaur DNA, as they say, through mosquitoes. 'Cause they were mosquitoes back then, and but here's the scientific part. How do you recreate dino DNA when it's been fossilized and dormant and dried for millions of years? The older it gets, the more holes, as they say, or gaps in the DNA strand that it has. So what did they do? They used frog DNA to fill in those holes. For me, it's like, why use frogs when you want to use a more this more evolved descendant. I was thinking crocodiles. Don't ask, I was thinking crocodiles. Frogs, I don't know. It's still a reptile, but I was thinking crocodile. But because crocodiles were, around for millions of years, So yeah, they just, evolved during those times. But that's what I thought. But uh they are so enthralled with the with genes and the making of a dinosaur. They want to see the unfertilized, the fertilized eggs and whatnot. They want to see the hatchings and whatnot. So they get off the ride, and they go into the laboratory. The laboratory is very small, and they find out that there's no unauthorized breeding in Jurassic Park, and all the dinosaurs are female because they control the chromosomes, So what? So already you can say, um, yeah, crocodile, alligator, yeah, exactly. So already you can say that Jurassic Park is not just a park; it's actually a laboratory. it's really a laboratory in that sense. You know, it and the laboratory does not just um stop at that little left they had, during the ride. It's actually the whole park is a laboratory. The whole island is a laboratory for it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I saw it at. You know, spared no expense. That's one thing about John Adams' character. He's very you know, he tries to prove that I guess he's not cheap, right? We spared no expense. We paid top dollar for this. We spent money, But you can always see the controlling of chromosomes and things of that nature, and then they see Velociraptor hatching and whatnot, and then you have Dr. Ian Malcolm. Thought of it that way. It was. But you know what, Sister Queer, I didn't just think of just Jurassic Park being a laboratory. Also, I'll be honest, I was also thinking about the Jurassic period as being like a big laboratory. I really did, because but I also thought about the Jurassic period being a beginning. How she was talking about, Genesis, and in the beginning, well, which beginning? There were many beginnings, So I thought the Jurassic period was a beginning and an end. You know what I'm talking about? And it was like a big laboratory where you had, a control laboratory for, the Elohim and whatnot. And they had these dinosaurs, So in my mind, I was like, I always make the joke, let's make man our own image. But what about the dinosaurs? F them dinosaurs. Do away with them. We already know project, Let's make man our own image. Sounds like a good idea, I'm inclined to that idea, that, but I try to expand my thinking in that way where, I see, that era, of continental movement and things of that nature, in those periods as beginnings, because something began and something ended. The beginning was, these big, dinosaurs and whatnot and all of that, and new fauna and flora and whatnot, and then all of that ended, and then something else came. Where you had bacteria, and then that brought about, these mammals, which we know today. Peace all you boppers out there in the big city, Griffs, yeah, right. Can you dig? Okay, well, that's another movie for another time. But shout out to Chief, aka Cyrus, the one and only. Who is Cyrus? He's the one and only. When you when you leader the toughest gang, the toughest gang, you don't gotta move nothing for nobody. That's Cyrus. But anyway. Exactly, Brother Law. And I wonder about their removal after the landmass extinction. Exactly, Sister Moksha. So I saw that as a beginning, that whole period as a beginning and an end. As the tectonic plates moved and shifted, and the continental landmass began to separate from each other. Then you have climate change and things of that nature. Then you have, different, as the periods change, you go from Jurassic period, then Ice Age and things of that nature and whatnot, these new beginnings, and these new ends. It didn't stop. This happened millions of years ago. So that's what I thought of. But I didn't just put it to just the island that Jurassic Park was on. So as they're there, you have Dr. Ian Malcolm, and he says, life can't be contained, and as Sister Deirdre said at the beginning, he says, life finds a way, and it does. And that's all he's saying. But he's a mathematician in chaos theory, so he understands that something will happen to um, make life fruitful and multiply. Like I say, Grips, yeah, right. Man, I see, the big county. We never been to the Bronx before. I want you to tag everything in sight. I want everybody to know that the Warriors were there. But I can't get off topic. I can't get off topic. So, but he says that, which basically prove, it is his words prove is long lasting throughout the movie. You know what I'm talking about? And you know, they go to see the raptor feeding, and they see this hunter, who studies this raptor and whatnot. He tells them about him. How extremely intelligent they are. Especially the big one. And she took over the herd and killed killed all the others. But he said, if she looks at you, she's working things out. But they go for lunch, right? And John Hammond explains his ideas and what's going to happen, or what's going to be there at Jurassic Park or whatnot. And you got the lawyers like, man, people will pay 10 to $5,000 for this. People will, for tickets. I mean, people will pay it. And I was like, I want everybody to have access to it. It's like, yeah, sure, we have a coupon there. Here is a lawyer who's supposed to be in the law, talking like a shrewd businessman. Interesting, right? But but who steals the show is Dr. Ian Malcolm, because he says, you have a lack of the lack of humility before nature. It's sickening. And then he tells them, the scientific power that you're using, you didn't have the discipline to attain it. You didn't earn the knowledge for yourself, so you don't take the any responsibility of it. And when he said that, it made me think of a show that a sci-fi show I used to watch called Farscape. And I probably said it more than once. So long story short, John Crine got wormhole knowledge in his head that was given to him by these ancients, right? And it's this guy called Scorpius. He tries to, always looking for John Crichton because he wants to get this, wormhole knowledge from his head, so they can have wormhole weapons and stuff like that. And at one time, John Crichton gets captured, and Scorpius goes into his head, right? And he wants the knowledge. That's all he cares about. But he's in John Crichton's head, and John Crichton tell him, "No, I'm sorry, Scorpy, but but the ancients told me if you are not smart enough to get it for yourself, then you are not smart enough to have it at all." And kicks him out of his mind in a very painful way, where he suffers, and whatnot. But that made me think about that moment. If you don't have the knowledge or the responsibility or the humility to grasp these divine or godly type concepts, then you're not supposed to have that knowledge at all. You know what I'm saying? They didn't learn the knowledge for the actions. Were not rooted in wisdom. You could, but didn't stop to think if you should. Exactly. Should we be doing this? Is this right? I mean, yeah, we could do it. It's like if your parents always, you say, well, mom, all the cool kids are doing this. Like, oh, so, if the kid, the high school kids jump off, jump off building, are you gonna do it? Like, no, but you know, but just because you can doesn't mean you're supposed to. There's a lot of things we could do in this day and time. Maybe we can be really, because it's also, this concept also shows in the building of the atom bomb. Once the atomic bomb was built, now you have these scientists so remorseful at what they done or what they created. They created nuclear power and found out the concept. But once they did and saw the destruction that it caused, it's like, wow, maybe I shouldn't did that. And then they become remorseful. Like, no, that created so much devastation that's not what I was trying to do or whatever. But it goes along as an example, right? But yeah, and then you have John. I don't believe this, because everybody, is has an ascendant opinion at this table. You have, Dr. Sally, from a plant-based opinion. She's like, well, you have all these plants that's there that are poisonous, and you pick them because they look good. But here was a creature that's that does not know where it's at. That has hasn't been on this planet for millions of years, and they will defend themselves violently if they have to. Now, it's a dinosaur, it's a dinosaur. Defend themselves violently they it's like it's a non-statement. Of course they're gonna do it. But yeah, because you have to think about the simple fact that when they were about, the land masses that they were in no longer exist now, and the fauna and flora that existed no longer exist now. The oceans that were there no longer exist now. So they're in, they don't know what time period they're in, and even if it's an animal mind, it how does one adapt through millions of years of not being alive on the evolutions of this earth? If it's like, since there's always been movies about it, what's that movie? Caveman in Encino Caveman. It's sort of like that. Where you had a caveman, played by Brandon Fraser, and they dig him out off the ice, and he's alive, and he don't know what's going on. He don't even speak the language, and he's confused, and he sees his life, or his way of life, in the museum, and it bothers him, or whatever. His girlfriend's alive, and whatever, his mate's alive, they turn into this blonde, whatever. But yeah, sort of like that. Encino Man, yeah, Encino Man, it's sort of like that, But you have Dr. Ian Malcolm saying, dinosaurs had that time, and nature, selected them for extinction. It wasn't man-made because man wasn't around. It wasn't no one's fault. You know what I'm saying? It's just nature's changing. We don't need you no more. It could be as simple as that. Like I said, what about the dinosaurs? F the dinosaurs. Let's make man in our own image. New beginning. This bores me. All these dinosaurs do. All they eat each other, eat off the plants. What's the point? They're not entertaining anymore, or whatever. Let's make something new. Okay, go. Okay, how about we separate the land masses, and create new land masses and new oceans and things of that nature, because and think about it, some of your mountains and things of that nature took millions of years to create, or they weren't there one time, you know what I'm saying? Or you could see the erosion making you think that, letting you know that at one point in time there was large bodies of waters and they're not here no more. And now all that's left is this big landmass, sort of like the Sahara Desert. The Sahara Desert wasn't always a desert. It was a lush tropical place at one point in time. Then as time went on, it became a desert, with sand and stuff. Probably if you dig real deep, you'll find something totally different. But nobody digs in places like that. But on this same earth. Yeah. That's what you see in these periods. Earth is millions of years old. We're we as human beings, we're the young ones in this, you know. But there are new beings on the same earth, like I say, and you see this with this one period, If you go back, you'll probably see more different type of animals that you never seen before. They'll exactly. They'll flood marks on the Sphinx. For one, the Sphinx is way older than it is. For those that don't know, the Sphinx is way older than probably Egyptologists we even tell you. But how do you know that? The watermarks on the Sphinx. That's how you know. We live on this rock. Exactly. It's way older. You know what I'm talking about? Like there was a time when there were woolly mammoths. Now, of course, humans did at one point in time during the Ice Age hunted woolly mammoths. But I mean, think about that. What's a woolly mammoth? It's basically the ancestor of an elephant. Or elephant, or whatever, So it's the answer. But think about it. That's the evolution of a new beginning. Even with the animals that you have, it was once a saber-tooth tiger. It's not a saber-tooth tiger no more. Wolves were taller and larger at one point in time. And I'm just talking about mammals that we know. It makes you think about exactly, Chief. As I was telling you, there were big, huge, incredibly huge mammals and dinosaur-like mammals in the ocean. But you can't excavate those oceans, because you can't go all the way down to the deeps of the ocean because of the pressure. But I mean, if you could, you'll probably find some things that you didn't even know were there, or skeletal remains, possibly that you didn't even know were there. Just things to rub about in your head, right? Yeah, four masses, exactly. Long before the one at the end of exactly, Sister Moksha. So many unknown things in the deepest part of the ocean. Yeah. Down yeah, in the deep dark. Yes. So, they talk about that, but they go on, they're about to go embark to see the park, right? And we get introduced to Tim and Les, the kids. And what's interesting about that is, Dr. Sadler and Alan, they're together. They're together. And she's imposing the idea because she wants to have kids. And he is opposed to the idea. So she wants him to get acquainted with kids so he can, have the idea in his head because that's what she wants, And you got, Tim who follows him around and he's like, do you really think that, dinosaurs, used to be birds, at one point in time, because they don't look like birds, but now and he's just inquisitive, Tim's inquisitive, and his big sis Lex, is just, she said I should ride with you because it'll be good for you. Real leave it to beaver type stuff, But yeah, about space. I've been thinking about the ocean and what could possibly surface one day and be like, what's up? Yeah, so because you look, for all the Kraken, the Kraken can still be alive and well, just sleep, and then climate change or to tie the plane, just wake up. The Kraken's been released. How do we defeat it? We don't know. Or whatever. You never know. You never know. Just back all of a sudden you see the Krakens and that lattice pop up, whatever. So, they're in the park, and whatnot. And they see no dinosaurs. Well, that makes sense because like all life, it's not a zoo. And that's I guess that's what they get wrong. And in the park, they treat these animals like normal mammals, like lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, and you see that with the T-Rex, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. They just send a goat out there, put a goat up in a cage, and he's just black sheep, right? But Alan says the T-Rex don't want to be fed; he wants to hunt. Because he's a predator. You can't. That's millions of years of genetic instinct. He's a hunter. He don't want you feeding him. He can go get his own food. But they treat it like it's a regular mammal, which they're wrong. One thing you could take from this period about dinosaurs is that basically there's two types, or divided into two groups, right? There's the Saurochans, which means lizard hipped, and then the Ornithischians, which are the bird hips. The bird hips are your herbivores, stegosauruses and instinct and things like that. But then you have your lizard hip ones like the Tyrannosaurus, are mostly carnivores and predators, but you see them not being, not being put on display because they don't know nothing about this world, they're in the hiding of the environment, probably because it's not even their time to wake up if they sleep, what I'm saying, or things of that nature, like it's already been said, they're not used to this type of world, or maybe even the sun or the moon. What's that? So that whole environment is not basically everything that moves is food. Exactly. Everything that moves is food for them. So yeah. So as they're waiting to watch, the T-Rex or whatever, they move on a bit and they see a sick Triceratops. And then you see Dr. Sadler, she's inspecting, the dinosaurs, droppings or fecal matter, any things of that nature. And she's trying to see if it's been eating the West Indian lilac because it's poisonous, and, looking for seeds and things of that nature, trying to figure out why is the Triceratops getting sick. But she stays behind, with the Triceratops and whatnot, and they move on, but then you see, then it's hacking the system and whatnot, and they still, while he's hacking the system, he's basically having a time gap so he can steal the embryos, from I say cryo chamber. From the cryo chamber, you know. So when the system is hacked, you know, the automated driving in the cars, you know, stop, and he stopped right at the T-Rex paddock, right? And it's a storm. Now, why did they pick this? Pick to have a tour during the, you know, when there's a storm going down? I don't know. Needed some yeah, psyllium, psyllium, yeah, yeah, psyllium, yeah. Have to make sure. Have to break down the word. Um, but you know, all of a sudden you see the T-Rex eat the goat and, and throw a leg over. Like, oh, it's gonna eat the goat, you know, whatever. Um, but that's when all the stuff happens because, you know, because the system has had the electrical fence that housed the dinosaurs don't work anymore. You know, so as you see the the Tyrannosaurus Rex, he throws the throws the leg over and he's touching, you know, the fence and he's not getting electrocuted or whatever. So he breaks open and he just starts so he just starts rampaging. You know, getting free, you know, yelling, and that was probably the best part of the movie. I think we all like that part. You know, see this, you know, T-Rex just wrecking shop, right? And you see Tim's Lex, she goes into the back of the truck and she gets a flashlight. If this was a scary movie, you know this should be the first one to fall. But she goes gets the flashlight and flashes the T-Rex. And here you have Tim like, turn the light off. Turn the light off. You know, turn the light off. You know, and he's trying to turn it off, and then you see the T-Rex just pounding against the truck. You see the lawyer, he gets out the car and whatever. He goes into the bathroom and whatnot. I'm scared and he's praying, but he gets eaten, you know. And Dr. Grant and Dr. Malcolm, they are trying to lure the T-Rex away from the kids, you know, and whatnot. Oh, I didn't understand. Well, Sham, the T-Rex, apparently, his vision relies on movement. So if you don't move, it can't see you. But at the same time, they got this flashlight moving around. He can pick up that. You know what I'm saying? So they're giving themselves away or whatever, you know. Now, me personally, I'm also like, well, the T-Rex can pick up smell, so he should be able to, even if he can't see you, pick up your scent. Like, you know, predators and animals do, but what do I know? Peace, Alba Cruz. But you know, they get the kids, but they Tim's still in the car, so he gets basically hauled over into a tree, you know, inside the truck. And Alan and Lex, you know, they basically climb down from the electrical rope of the fence down to in the T-Rex paddock, right? Also, she thought he couldn't see. Like, she didn't know. She didn't know Sham. Her brother knew, you know, because he likes dinosaurs, you know, and he's very smart. But she didn't know. She was in a state of duress, you know, just scared, you know. So she just flashed the light because she was scared. You know, that's all you could say. Um, Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, she was on duress. She was scared, you know. But as that's um happening and whatnot, you know, all of a sudden, you know, uh we see Dennis get eaten by the Dilophosaurus. You know, this little small animal that you know shoots poison. Whatnot, he gets ate in the car, and all that work to get that dang embryos, you know, to get some covered in mud, you know, red clay. Um, so then we see Ellie and I forget the hunter's name, but they find Malcolm and they see, you know, that Alan and the kids are pretty much safe because they see the tracks, you know, the footprints that they got away. You know what I'm saying? So they take Malcolm back to the control, I'd say the control center. And you know, because he's wounded, but he knew enough to put a tourniquet on himself with his belt, you know. That's survival technique. You know, you can make a tourniquet, you know, pretty much with your belt. Um, and so after that, you know, we see basically Dr. Grant and the kids, you know, they climb up a tree and they're watching, you know, um Brachiosaurus. See, I almost said it. Brachiosaurus is sing, you can say, and communicate with each other, and they're you know sleeping through the night, and we see John Hammond talk to Ellie, you know, and one thing he says is, you know, creation is an act of sheer will, and she tells because he's talking about you know will. Um, we rely too much on you know Dennis Nelly, you know, and automate and automation. You know, now we're gonna do something different. And then he's like, when we take control again, and Ellie's like, you never had control. That's the illusion, you know, and that's true. He left us. He left us. Yes, Shell. You know, but that's not what I'm gonna do. You know, it's a cool part. But you know, like I said, she said, you know, you never had control. That's the illusion. You know, because one, this power was not yours. You know what I'm saying? So you never had control over it in the beginning. And then it made me think of, well, because you don't have the power to define what you have just created, you really don't know. You know, does that mean that you don't have dominion over it? I just thought about that from Genesis. You know, um, you know this was going way before you know you were created, so you weren't given dominion over it anyway. So should you be really creating it because you don't have dominion over it? You know, I just thought about that. You know, as something to wrap my mind around. Um, and so as they, you know, Alan and the kids, they go through the park. You know, they find out that the dinosaurs are breeding. You know, by the um, and they see dinosaur egg shells. You know, and he explains to the kids, you know, how some of West African frogs can change sex from male to female when there's a single sex environment. You know, Malcolm was right. Life found a way. You know, and he says, "Look, you know," and whatnot. Um, yeah. So we we see Arnold, which is Samuel L. Jackson's character. Uh, he's trying to reset the system, you know, to erase the virus or whatever from the system that Nedley did or whatever or Dennis, you know. Yeah, Me and you, Sister Deidre, I never forgot that jib. I never forgot, you never had control. That was the illusion. I never got those jibs. See, you just pick them up and they just stay with you. But yeah, you and me both. Um and so Ellie goes turn on the power, to basically boot back up the system, and she sees a raptor that tries to kill her, because the hunter goes to hunt the raptors, but then he gets killed because he didn't pay attention to the movements. He thought that he saw a raptor in front of him, but that's when the attack come, not from the front, but from the side, you know, and got eaten, or and whatnot. And so, one thing we see, Alan and the kids, they see the Gallimimus. And when I saw the Gallimimus, you know what I thought about? Because there's a theory of, the reptile, dinosaurs being like birds, whatever. When I look at how the Gallimimus were moving, the first thing I thought of was ostriches. Literally. Ostriches without the wings. But just the way they were moving, I was like, they move like ostriches. Just something I thought about. Until I rewatch. I didn't either, brother Antonio. But it took me to rewatch those things. You know what I'm talking about? It took me, I didn't, when the movie came out, I didn't think about that stuff. I was just there for the dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs and the who I think it was McDonald's. They had, the Jurassic Park cups. That's all I care about when I was a kid. Got the cups. You collect the cups and whatnot. With the T-Rex. I think what they, you put some in them and did they change color? That's all we cared about. But rewatching it, older, you pick up on the gems. Like, that's what that meant. Okay, yeah. Was a cool fact. Yeah, was a cool fact. How life evolves, and tells you, well, we can't do nothing with this. We need a pair, for pair bonding. So life will find a way to correct that error, and that's what happened. Now that is that can be considered a little bit of the butterfly effect or the chaos theory. This little variable that's or what was it? Oh, or what Impression was talking about, how something little can turn good. Well, that could be an example. Instituting balance. To get that male and female, because it's off balance. So you have something for the better, not for the bad. You know what I'm talking about? So anyway, you see that Alan and the kids, they go back to the visitor center, and you see that the kids are hunted by the raptors, and the raptors are so smart they can open the door, and whatnot. But they lose the raptors, and they, Alan gets back with Ellie, and they're trying to close the doors, and you see Alan has a shotgun, but he drops the shotgun. It looked like the shotgun had a jamming problem. And me personally, I was like, see, this is why you need to learn, proper, techniques to what to do if if you gun jam or whatever. That's important. That way you ain't throwing it down like run. You get okay, take proper assessment. let's get this thing back operational because you're gonna need that gun against I guess the Dago Raptor. What's interesting is that they weren't using the buckshot, the 00 buck. I think they were using look like birdshot or the one because shotguns have many different types of ammunition, for many different types of game you're hunting. So I was thinking maybe they're using the birdshot where it has um the big casing in the shell. But Lex, she's a little hacker, she's a little kid, teenage hacker. Yeah. Her brother's like, yeah, you're a computer nerd. I prefer to be called a hacker, but she hacks into the system to secure the doors and secure the park, and she brings back the phones and whatnot. Because it spoke to life, finding a way to go back to what was natural. Yeah. I was laughing when I saw that door out there. Yeah. I was yelling at Till, like, stop slapping the chair and give the gun. Exactly. That little boy ain't doing nothing. He's like, yeah. It's like, bruh, help out. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So they get trapped, by the raptors, but then here comes the T-Rex killing the raptors, and then you see a face-off between the raptors and the T-Rex, and the T-Rex just wreck shop like he's dang on Godzilla or whatnot, and yelling, and then they get in the Jeep with John Hammond and Dr. Malcolm, and they board the helicopter. And they leave for the mainland, but you see, basically, I thought that this was going to change his life. I thought this was going to change Dr. Grant's life, where he is snuggling with the kids. He spent all this time with the kids, actually being a father type figure in a dangerous situation. And well, if you watch the other movie, well, the Lost World, because he wasn't in, his character wasn't in, no, not Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, there was no growth in that character, where you thought there would be growth in that character. T-Rex is the MVP. But yeah, so that's the end of the movie, Then they look at the birds out, bee birds. I was like, come on, pelican, fly, pelican, fly, pelican. Scarface, But yeah. So, and you got the ending track playing in the background. That's the end of the movie, what I'm talking about. But yes. So like I say, this is a very interesting movie, just for the simple fact, that it was dealing with, all these things, like, cloning and having and this great responsibility that obviously nobody was taking, nobody was being accountable for. You know what I'm talking about? And that probably, you could say, that was the issue, and like I say, to be Malcolm, Dr. Malcolm, or Dr. Ian Malcolm, fly pelican, pelican, fly pelican, see, I was on it. That's what I thought of, what I'm saying, and but that makes you think, should you be doing something, that you don't know, that you really don't have the responsibility for, that you could probably, pen off on somebody else. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the prime example would be, the atomic theory or the atom bomb, what I'm saying, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Where you have this great devastation, You know what I'm saying? And look at what it did, to, like I said, it was dropped on, two cities, you know what I'm saying? And that caused a lot of devastation, you know, and just looking at it, you know what I'm saying? Just looking at this thing like, what have we done? But nobody takes responsibility for it. You dang sure ain't gonna have the military take responsibility for it. They'll blame the scientists. We just used it. Y'all created it, But should you be doing it? Yeah, Brother Antonio, I like when Dr. Malcolm said that you spent so much time wondering if you could, you didn't stop to think if you should. Exactly. Like there was no deep critical thinking in uh in the thought process of this plan. Pretty much, you know what I'm talking about. Should you be doing it? You know what I'm talking about? I know we can do it. Just like, no, we can do it, but should we be doing this thing? Is it right? Anybody, basically, did anybody think about this plan? You know what I'm saying? And whatnot, because it's like I didn't come up with it, but yeah. Spared, exactly, spared no expense though. Like for real, spared no expense. It was just basically, it was on like clockwork. As long as we got the money, we got that money. We can do whatever. We can do whatever we want, and ain't nobody gonna say nothing to us because we spared no expense. No expense now. That's true. Kind of like looking at the effects of genetically altered food. Yeah, you can equate that to that. We haven't really seen the field results of it. Yes, also puts me in the mind of the danger of repeating cycles. The cycle of life of large reptiles was done away with for a reason. Yes, it was. It was done away with for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't, like I say, it was sustained by a very large continent of a mass of land. You can't have dinosaurs, in New York. We're just gonna use New York. You can't have dinosaurs in New York, or it could probably work in it could work in Texas. But you can't have dinosaurs in those parts of land. Although there are dinosaur fossils, in those parts, One of the most short-sighted justifications I've heard was, I did it and I didn't die. I did it and I didn't die. That's I didn't die, so it must be good. Whatever, yeah, money couldn't stop that chaos. Sister Deidre. One left real quick. So that's what Godzilla. Well, Godzilla was a mutation. I only watched I didn't watch the original Godzilla, right? I watched Godzilla versus Mothra for the wrong reasons yet again. But I thought that one was the coolest one. The one with Mothra. Don't ask me why. But yeah, So I think Godzilla was like a mutation. You shouldn't be doing that one either, But that's the Eastern take on that whole thing, They certainly understood how much money they will make from manipulating life without considering the true nature of the beast. They sought to control. Exactly. You still see that with mammals, like lions and tigers and bears, even gorillas. Even though we come out with a bunch of documentaries and stuff like that, we still do not understand these creatures. Yet we cage them and we look at them like, look, mommy, it's the lion. Should we be, or we we can look at it like, a long time ago, this thing used to hunt me and I used to run. But then I was able to create fire and things like that, and guns and things of that nature. Now I'm hunting it. But should I really be doing it? Because one thing they talked about was condors, being this thing, or that's man-made extensions. The dodo bird. Dodo bird was a real thing, but they got this thing. Tigers in certain parts of the world were extinct because of man-made, hunting and whatnot. But to recreate those things, should we? But then I thought about the same thing with, if you could do that with dinosaurs, couldn't you do that with mummified remains? Just thought about it. Could you recreate King Tut? Don't mean you should. I thought about that too, but can't help thinking about the island of Dr. Moreau. Exactly. Large reptiles like gators, Komodo dragons, anacondas, have territorial natural to yeah. Yeah, these areas are particularly hostile to most mammals, except some rodents. Exactly. The Amazon ain't no joke. There's things in the Amazon, only, and that's another story in itself because of the deforestation of the Amazon. That's even becoming a problem. You know what I'm saying? And a rejected version. He won't be to say exactly. Didn't Godzilla come from the deep dark of the ocean floor? No, I don't think so. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to Godzilla. Like I said, I only watched one. I didn't watch them all. Before my time, I only watched one. So yeah. So next strong, we are doing Constantine. Brother Antonio requested it, so we're gonna do that. I would say, if you want to know something about Constantine is a comic book character. For those who don't know, it's a comic book character. So I mean, if you want to watch, explanations on who Constantine is or whatever, they're on YouTube, for sure. You know what I'm talking about? But he is a comic book character. So, think DC? Yeah, should be DC. It's not Marvel. He's a DC. Constantine should be a DC character. Yep, he is a DC character. Yep. Yeah. I get you, brother Antonio. Didn't you request Constantine, brother Antonio? You requested. Yeah, it should have been you. Or yeah, he's in the same universe as Batman. Yep. That's why it's hypothesis. I said the PG. The PG. I'm confused. But anyway, they realized they underestimate the intelligence of these creatures. Yeah, just Deidre. Yeah. But I think that's why I say I think that comes with the power to define, because when you can't define what that creature is holistically, you underestimate their intelligence. You know what I'm saying? So that could have been it, or whatever. That's why, that's what made me think about it. For part 2. Oh. Yeah, I don't think Keanu Reeves is gonna make that movie. I think he making more money with John Wick. We wait on that John Wick part 5. Honestly, at least I am. I'll wait on John Wick part 4. You might be waiting a minute for Constantine part 2. You know what I'm talking about? And with DC and A movie making waves, they struggling, unlike Marvel. But I mean, it is what it is. Not too excited about it though. Yeah. We got Matrix 4 coming out before all of that. Exactly. Just because you were saying Matrix 4. Neo comes back. Neo Resurrection. That's probably what's gonna be called. Matrix 4, Neo Resurrection. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. So that's what we gonna be doing next, strong. You know what I'm talking about. And that's gonna be interesting because it's we dealing with comic books. It's gonna be cool, Um always connected Constantine with the devil. Nah, bro. Nah, Constantine. Nah, the devil's advocate. Well, also, all because of Al Pacino, one of my favorite movies. Who are you holding all those bricks for? God. Let me give you a little insight about God. Vanity is one of my favorite sins. He, good acting, um, that's that's the name actually. Matrix Resurrection. Love Devil. Me too. So that's what we do at that show, Constantine. So, give thanks for everybody for coming out. See y'all. Well, tomorrow we have Chief. Giving more to Genesis. We bringing that to you. Oh, I hope y'all check out Sister Deidre's live. It happened a couple of hours ago, which was very interesting. With I don't want to not miss say a name. So, but it was cool. It was nice. Yeah, I saw Sister Shia. I was like, really, Christmas Day, Christ sacrifice. Yeah. So give thanks to everybody. Thanks for showing up, showing out. And we'll see you next strong, talk about folk Constantine, not the emperor. For those that know. But yeah. Ooh, we'll probably even get into that as we're talking about, the comic book character. We'll talk about Constantine as well. The emperor, the Roman emperor Constantine. What that entails. Yeah, that does for history. Yeah, of course we can't deal with Constantine. So yeah, we'll get into that too. Just thought about it. But give thanks everybody. And I'll see you next strong. Peace.